Hey peeps, I'm Nikki, the obsessive bookseller, and we are doing a massive book haul today. I blame the fact that I've been coming in here every single night reading, and when I get tired of reading, I start staring at my collection and I think, wow, I need to fill in that gap. Like there's a book I'm missing out of that set or something, and then I end up online, and then one thing leads to another, and I end up with all of these books. This has been such a fun season of book buying for me. And I do have quite a few books still on their way, but I need to put the brakes on. Like it's getting a little bit ridiculous, but let's go through what I've got. First up, I took advantage of the broken binding, printing one of my new favorite series, Empire of Black and Gold, book 1 in the Shadow of the App series by Adrian Tchaikovsky and Dragonfly Falling. These are signed and I believe numbered editions. Nope, just signed. That's okay. Broken Binding evidently is doing, like, for the subscribers, they usually do like a trilogy or whatever where you buy like 3 months of it. And then for non-subscribers open to the public, they are doing like bigger series over the course of a couple of years. And I wasn't sure at first if they were going to be doing more in the series. I bought this first one because this book is one of the best books I've ever read. I loved it so much. And I found out that they are printing the whole thing. The third book comes out sometime in December, so I definitely will be slowly replacing all of my paperbacks with these hardcovers, and hopefully we'll be reading them faster than they will be coming out. I hear they are doing Malazan next year, and I can't wait. I'm hoping to get on the wait list for that. They're supposed to have new covers, they're going to be hardcovers, and they're doing the whole series. And in a lot of the book buying that I've been doing this last couple of months, I've been looking at Malazan books. I even ordered a couple of hardcovers and they ended up being the book club editions, and it was a big like headache or whatever. So yeah, I'm really glad that my book buying didn't get me in trouble there, because I would much rather have the brand new broken binding editions than I would have like secondhand, really grimy but super expensive hardcovers. So yeah, by the way, not sponsored by Broken Binding, but you know, call me. I picked up a copy of Misfit Soldier by Michael Mamet. This is my favorite sci-fi author. I love everything he produces. This particular one was really fun. It was a kind of like a heist story meets sci-fi. So, you know, you go through the whole process of gathering a team and you have a task that you have to complete, and everybody is kind of like a little bit of a specialist in certain things. Like, so much fun, and one of the funnier ones. Like, I laughed a lot through this one. So yeah, I noticed I didn't have a copy for my collection, so needed to remedy that. Because I read and loved Ender's Shadow this year, I decided to continue on with the series, and this is the only book that I didn't have in hardcover. I got this on Pango for like 10 bucks. Shadow of a Hegemon, which, by the way, a lot of the books that I have right now have been funded by books that I've been selling on Pango. I'll leave a link. I've got quite a few things listed on there. But yeah, it's very enabling. You're like, oh, you can sell your own books. You don't have to go through a third party. I guess Pango's a third party, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like create an account on Amazon. It's very user friendly. But what they don't tell you is that everything that you earn on there, you will put right back into there. When you go to check out, it's like, hey, do you want to use your earnings to pay for this? I'm like, heck yeah. So yeah, 10 bucks. This was an excellent find. My copy of Blade of Dream by Daniel Abraham finally came in. I love this book. I love this series. This is one of my all-time favorites. I included it as one of my top books in the best of 2023 so far. And if you like Expanse because of the characters and how human everybody feels and how connected you feel to them, even just like the random characters, they make you care about these people. That's how his fantasy stuff works for me. I absolutely love it. So I'm glad to have a beautiful addition to my shelves. This is like the matte cover. I think they are so pretty. I'm kind of hoping the next one's got like reddish or greenish tones. One of the two I think that would look really nice on the shelf. So I did a book outlet order, got myself Lockland for pretty cheap, like 8 bucks. Now, I enjoyed the first book in the series. Like, it was a highlight of last year, one of my favorites. This one and the second book, okay, second book I hated. Oh man, a lot of evil posturing, like where you're just going off on these evil monologues, but nothing is actually happening and they're just talking through the whole thing. I found it very aggravating. to the point where I didn't really even want to finish this one, but I felt like I had to, so I kind of speed read to the end. Yeah, it was okay. I liked the very, very ending of the book, but I didn't retain anything from it. So the purchase of this is because I think it's beautiful and I want the full set. And I want to honor how much I loved the first book, but I really did not enjoy the second two. This one was like a 3-star. The second book was like a 2-star. First book was a 5-star. I was waiting, hoping I would find it for cheap, and so I'm glad I did. Okay, one of the pitfalls of ordering late at night is that I double purchased books 2 and 3 in the Web Shifters Library series by Julie Chernita. I love this sci-fi author. Her creature creation is unmatched. She was a biologist by trade before becoming a writer, and that deep knowledge of creatures and how things work on different ecosystems and just all of the stuff integrated into her story, the social aspects of different animals, like all of it, it is so freaking good. And this is a return to the world of Essen, the Blue Blob, my favorite series from her. And this is like the second chapter in their world. And I've only read the first book and half of the second book. I got sidetracked, but I need to restart the second series and just read through. But the thing is like I already owned these. I forgot that I bought them because the spine of this one on the shelf has a blue blob, but the cover is yellow. And so I thought, oh, blue blob, that must be the first book. Nope, I already had that one. And then this one also has a blue blob, but I knew it was red. But there was a knickknack blocking it, so this is why I'm glad I have a Pango account, because I can sell these, but dang it. One of my favorite purchases, Combat Codes by Alexander Darwin. I have not read this book yet, but the concept for it really makes me happy. This is a broken binding signed edition, and I think one of the reasons I pulled the trigger, it wasn't too terribly expensive, is because I really love the naked hardcover. Got like a dragon on it. So what little I know about this series is that all fighting has to be done through hand-to-hand combat. I don't really know why. I don't care to know why until I start the story, but I think of all the books I've got sitting on my shelves, this is the one I'm most excited to start sooner than later, so can't wait. For Christmas, my husband got me Dune Messiah and Children of Dune to go with that beautiful copy of Dune that I already had. And this, I mean, these ain't cheap. Like, they've got these beautiful illustrations kind of on the inside and stuff, and I was worried that I wasn't going to like the series and then I'd end up with these beautiful copies that would just sit there and rot on my shelves. To my surprise, absolutely love Dune. Like, I know it's a classic and a lot of people love it, but I've been told cautionary tales my whole reading career about this series, but I love Dune and I'm really looking forward to reading more in this series, and I think these editions are stunning. Maybe not the cover images themselves, like they're kind of eerie and creepy, but I like the colors, I like the vibrancy of it, and I like the ombre effect. That's what I like. I picked up a copy of Magic Claims by Ilona Andrews. This is the Kate Daniels Wilmington years, kind of a new era of Kate Daniels, and I'm loving them so far. I haven't read this one yet, but I read the first one, Magic Tides, at the beginning of the year. And even though these are like very cheap self-published copies, like, I don't care. I'm going to support the authors. I love them. Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. So I like sci-fi stuff. I enjoyed what I saw of the movie The Martian, but I know too much about it to really enjoy the book itself, I think. Like, too many things have been spoiled for me, but this is supposed to be kind of in the same vein as that. And Books with Genghis Khan really enjoyed this first book, and I thought, you know, really cheap on Book Outlet, I will give it a go, and yeah, looking forward to it. Because I've been having so much fun with the Sookie Stackhouse series, I decided to start collecting them in hardcover. They're like a dime a dozen, like they really are not that hard to find. Kind of hard to find in non-book club editions, at least I've not had a lot of luck, but I'm just filling in the gaps. And then I think one of the further along books, I've got an autograph copy, which is kind of cool. All of these I got on Pango for around $10, so yeah, not bad. Okay, one of my favorite things that I've purchased. So I was sitting there staring at the shelf that I'm working on for Read Burn Hoard and realizing that my Soldier Sun collection was atrocious. I have a hardcover, and then I had an advanced copy, and then I had a mass market paperback. Nothing matched, nothing was particularly nice. And I was randomly shopping for a different series and saw this edition of Shaman Crossing and thought it was absolutely beautiful, and to boot, it was a signed copy. And so, yeah, so cool. And this is my favorite author. I love Realm of the Elderlings, and it's the series that got me started with basically making book content with my blog. So I've started this book ages ago, hated the audio narrator, only made it about halfway and put it down. I need to revisit it. But because I found that one, I went and found book 2, Forest Mage. And probably my favorite color, because of the vibrant contrast of blue and orange, the Renegade Magic. So I have curated even more of my Hob collection, and I'm so excited. It means I don't have an excuse not to read these sooner than later. I know I'm not going to like them as much as the other series, but hopefully they'll be enjoyable. I just have to get back past the audio narrator, John Keating. I don't like him. He makes everything sound like a question, even when it's not a question, and that inflection is in every sentence, and it drives me so crazy. I got Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I haven't even opened it yet. This is Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project number 3. If you're on BookTube at all, you've already seen this, I'm sure. Like, I'm the last one on the internet to talk about everything. But I'm really interested in this one, just even the cover. I have no idea about the story. I don't really want to know anything about it before diving in. But this physical book is one of the prettiest things that I've seen. And so I'm really glad I got a copy of it and can't wait to get to it. I still need to read book 2. Okay, so on Pango, someone was selling these, they called it a YA bundle. I have no idea what this is, The Brilliant Death. I need to research it. It's probably going to end up being listed on Pango again. But I bought it because Of Sand and Malice Made is a prequel to the Shattered Sands series by Bradley Biolu. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I have such nice copies of everything else in hardcover that I really wanted to add this one to it. And the bundle was only like $15, so I figured it was a good investment, even if I don't end up keeping the other random book that I got with it. But this, I would like to read this before restarting that series. The first book was okay. Like, it had some really good world building components. The pacing was a little weird. The characters were kind of thin, but it has room to grow in the next books. I didn't continue fast enough, so now I have to reread. But I think I'm going to start with this one. Probably going to pick up an ebook copy for my ebook 0 challenge and start with it that way before continuing. But you know, it's very low on the priority list at the moment. In the interest of curating my Hob collection, I picked up the UK edition of Dragon Haven. I really hate the US versions of these books, and found the first one ages ago in a beautiful hardcover and thought I would pick it up. Now, I hate to even touch this one because whoever sold it, like, this smells like an old lady's closet. And then, like, you touch it and your hands smell like an old lady's closet for, I don't care how hard you scrub your fingers afterwards. So this one is beautiful. It's the reason why I hate buying used books, but it's, yeah, it matches the set. And so I have that one, and then I also bought City of Dragons. This one's does not smell. Yeah, now all I need is the Blood of the Dragons to complete the set. These are not nearly as hard to find as the other Robin Hobb hardcovers. People don't like this series as much as the rest of them. This is the Rainwild Chronicles, whereas I'm over here, I loved the dragons. I loved the exploration aspect of it. Like, the Rainwilds is something I'd been reading about for years, and the Elderlings without knowing anything about it. And then finally, after like 5 or 6 years of waiting and wondering, we finally get answers to some of the questions. And so I ate up every moment. I think, I'm just predicting, but I think the reason why people don't like it as much as I did is because they were able to read it back to back after finishing the Tawny Man trilogy or live ship. Whereas I had to read one book at a time and wait patiently for answers for years and years. So that is why I think I liked it a lot more than everybody else. Plus, it has dragons in it, and they are the dragons that are done really well, where they don't really act human. They act like in their own, with their own nature. Love that. And Robin Hobb, if nothing else, is amazing at immersing you in whatever character persona she's going after. Now in this series, they happen to be younger characters, but it's no less like uncomfortable than it was being with the older characters. I don't know. I'm defending the series with my last breath because I loved it. Now, of all the Elderling stuff, I think it was my second least favorite series. The first trilogy was my least favorite, and this one was my second least favorite, but it's Hobbs stuff, so it was still a solid 4-star series for me. Okay, tirade over. Okay, this is new. This one was also pre-ordered at Christmas by my husband, Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. I read Iron Gold, and then with no news of another book on the horizon beyond Dark something, I didn't continue. I also didn't really love that Iron Gold had a lot of the same characters from the first trilogy. I wanted it to kind of take its own spin because they felt thin in Iron Gold. They didn't feel very well developed at all because like we already spent time doing that, and so we should already feel something for the characters, but they just felt like throw-ins and afterthoughts to me, and so I didn't feel invested. Now, maybe if I pick it up again, I'll feel a little more invested, and I'm probably going to wait until the 4th and final book comes out, and then I will go back and reread that first book and continue on, and probably love it, because, I don't know, these will rip your, like, guts out. These are not easy reads by any means, but they stick with you in a good way, because they're very inspiring, if you will. First trilogy was great, and yeah, looking forward to reading these eventually. But yeah, it took me until just this year to start collecting the series, so keep going with that. Montego by Brian McClellan. This was I think I got this on a Kickstarter. It's signed by the author, hardcover. This is a part of the In the Shadow of Lightning that came out last year. I liked it. It had some problems. It had one of the worst mysteries I've ever read, but I thought the general ideas for the story and the development of it, and I just, the scenes, it was like action-packed. It was a lot of fun. The mystery was atrocious, but I thought it was a fun read, and I really love the way this author kind of writes character dynamics. You don't really see a lot of it in the Shadow of Lightning. I saw that more in the second Powder Mage trilogy, but this is surprisingly an author that doesn't work for everybody, whereas I love everything about it. I love his dry humor. So this is a short story about one of the characters in that series. He's a combatant, so he earned his reputation in the arena, and I love arena stuff. I love anything to do with competition. So very much looking forward to reading this one at some point, probably before the next book comes out. The series that got me started on loving fantasy, my mom handed me Magician Apprentice by Raymond E. Feist when I was like 14 or 15, and that's the story that got me hooked. And then I read Daughter of the Empire, and like the rest was history. I loved it so much. I've been slowly collecting hardcovers, like standard sized non-book club edition hardcovers of the original covers that I love. And always I was never able to find this particular cover in hardcover of A Darkness at Sethanon. So I was shopping online, and I found this one. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want. And I bought it thinking like, wow, it's an amazing condition for being so old. Like, it was written back in the 80s. This is amazing. It's signed by the artist and the author in here, numbered. I'm like, this is so cool. Come to find out that this is a Grim Oak Press edition that came out in 2001. No, 2021, meaning it's not old. It's a reprinting. I think the ones that I have are original printings, but they're not fancy editions like this. So I paid a pretty penny for this, but whatever. It matches the rest of the books in the set, and it was exactly what I needed. Now that I know that it's a Grim Oak Press, like a new edition, I'll probably lose the slipcase and just keep it, like, you know, spined out with the rest of the books. But I love that it matches. I have no idea what happened with the original printing of the hardcover books, because like the original Darkness at Sethanon covers are just atrocious. Like, I've avoided buying them because I don't want to do it. On Pango, I found A Shadow in Summer in hardcover, like a standard size non-book club edition hardcover. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read. The world building in here hits you from the very first page when they start like talking with their hands and using gestures to emphasize emotion and different things. And I loved it. This is such a human story. The magic system is so wildly cool. and I loved it. So now that I know that these are available in standard hardcovers, like this one is not in super awesome condition, like it's kind of dirty and grimy and stuff. Now that I know they exist, it opens up like a whole nother box of problems for me, because I'm gonna have to hunt down the rest of the series. But yeah, love that I have this copy for my shelves. And I have an omnibus, like 2 omnibuses, 2 in 1, that I will be getting rid of once I can find hardcovers of these. I don't even know if they printed them for the rest of them, but... And here's the thing, I don't even care if I get reprintings. Okay. My husband bought me Fractal Noise, second book in the To Sleep in a Sea of Stars world, or maybe it's a companion novel. Like, that book was huge. I don't even own a copy of that one. This one is so small. Like, is this a companion novel? Is it a continuation of the story? When I finished that other book, I really thought there was going to be more. It was open-ended. There were unanswered questions. Like, was it supposed to be open-ended, or was it going to be like a series or a trilogy? So I need to do some investigating. Maybe I'll just dive in on my next Project Sci-Fi and see what this one is all about. But I did like the aliens, so looking forward to learning more about them. Also a delayed Christmas present because it came out this year, Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. So when I read this one, I had not read anything but her first couple, maybe just the first Jade Legacy or Jade City book. And since then I've finished the trilogy and really admire this author for a lot of the things that she's able to do. She's such a smart writer. I freaking loved this short story. I love Trainer and their animal companion stories. I thought that was like really well paced. Like, it gave you just enough time to get connected to the characters, but then also gave you a lot of exciting action scenes. And I love how much attention was paid to all the things that this book should be about, like these giant hunting rocks, ROC, like the birds. Like, so cool. Freaking loved this one. Thought it ended great. And I am really looking forward to anything else Fonda Lee decides to write. This is so drastically different from Jade, the Jade series. I really hope she tries her hand at an epic fantasy series next, because I can't wait. I loved it. I want to give away, I'm subscribed to Anthony Ryan's newsletter, and so I got a personalized autographed copy of The Martyr, and then like a little sticker book plate signed. Oh, it's also personalized, cool, of the cover art for The Pariah. And here's the thing, when I entered this giveaway, I thought I was entering a giveaway for the 3rd book, and because I already had purchased a copy of this, I would not have taken this book away from someone else had I realized that I was entering a giveaway for the 2nd book. But the fact that I've got a personalized edition from him, like, so freaking cool. So I will be hanging on to this. And I see, okay, so The Pariah is a book that, like, technically everything about it, it was written well, it was a great story, just the things, the type of story in it, the fact that he's a martyr, and the religious zealotry in the book, and the fact that it kind of stopped and started over again a couple different times. I had a really hard time with that book. I quit the book, like, I finished the book mad and then decided that I needed a break before picking up the next one. And now it's been so long that I might have to reread a book I didn't like to continue the story. But he's responsible for one of my all-time favorite series, Draconius Memoria, and I love the Blood Song story too. So I feel like I really need to get back on board and keep reading this, but just the direction it was headed in, I didn't have it in me. I hate characters who don't make things happen for themselves and who are just bystanders in what's going on in the world that they're in. And this character, like, in my opinion, did nothing. And so he's a martyr, and then he's like going to be the victim about everything that's happening to him, but he's not willing to stand up for himself. Drives me crazy. So that's why I didn't like the book, even though it was done really well. Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll have to see if I'm going to pick that one up. Open that box again. I got the 2nd book, The Secret Project. This is kind of up on my list to read this month. My patrons who have read the Secret Project books so far say this is their least favorite, but you know, I'm interested enough in what's going on, and I feel like I'm in the right mindset to handle Goofy. And I feel like you have to be able to handle Goofy to read a book like this. So yeah, I love the additions. So like I said, with that Yumi one, I thought it was cool. So looking forward to that. And last but not least, when I was on Book Outlet, for whatever reason, they had hardcover copies of the School for Good and Evil trilogy. And they are beefy, satisfying, small little hardcovers. And I had just watched the movie on Netflix. I usually read the books first, but I thought, whatever, I'm gonna go for it. I love the school setting. There were a couple of plot points that I thought were stupid. But overall, I thought it was fun. Thought it was a lot of fun. I think I will enjoy the books even more. And yeah, really interested. That's my haul. I'm really excited to be able to finally start putting some of these books into their sections. But yeah, had so much fun buying books. Spent every last dime that I had earned on Pango back on books, buying more books, but that's okay. The special editions that I got that I'm hanging on to here are really cool. And I have a few more on their way, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and then I can do another book haul, hopefully not one this size. And I keep saying, like, I'm not putting any restrictions on how many books I can or can't buy. I'm kind of more driven by like a collector drive. So I know I have holes in certain series and they're hanging over my head. So I want to make sure I get copies while they're still available and complete my sets of like my all-time favorite authors. Hobbs' Elderling series is my all-time favorite author, so I have no problem taking time to curate that collection. The other stuff, like the Tchaikovsky books, like totally fine curating that collection. And then new books coming out that I know I want to support the author and I know I want to read eventually. I would rather buy them now in hardcover at like $20 than I would pay like $120 3 years from now because they're not available anymore. So I feel like everything I'm doing for the most part, at least within this haul, has been done with a lot of intention. And I bought mostly authors that I've read before, and a lot of books that I've read before that I knew I was just, yeah, trying to get the good editions. So anyway, lots of fun. Thank you for joining me on this book haul. Let me know if I should prioritize any of the series that I showed that I haven't read over anything else. And thanks for watching. Hope to catch you next time. Bye.